Hi folks, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always a huge thanks for joining me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan. Regular viewers and subscribers will know that I'm fortunate enough to have permission to go out and use some local woodland for doing these sorts of activities that we all enjoy doing. That woodland is kind of a community woodland. It's almost like a cooperative sort of woodland, and as part of their raising their profile and raising funds, the people behind it are very kind enough to lay on some events throughout the year aimed at getting people into the woods, and also aimed at people being able to better understand what the woods bring. And those range from all sorts of activities to fire lighting, to bird identification. You may be able to hear them in the background. Back at the end of last year, back in 2017, I came along and I did a course called Conversations with Chestnuts. I'll link to it up here. And I'm in the woods again today doing a very similar course, but this time we're looking at the birch trees. It's called Go Birch Crazy. And speaking of the word crazy, I'm probably going to be driven that today because I'm not here alone. In you come, guys. Yes, I'm joined for the first time on camera by both of these urchins here. Joined by
Finley
and
Ethan.
And these guys have joined me today out in the woods. So I know what I want to get out of today. What do you want to get out of today though, Finley?
I want to make some birch brooms.
Yeah, one of the things that the organisers have said that we're going to be doing today is looking at how we can use birches to make Halloween brooms. Now it is only April, so Halloween's a little way off yet, but I guess if we remember how to do it, we can make one closer to the date, can't we?
Yeah.
And what about yourself, Evie?
I wanted to do drinking sap from a birch tree.
She wants to drink sap from a birch tree. One of the things again that we're going to look at today is being able to drill or to be able to engineer the birch tree to give us some sap at this time of the year in the spring, to use that sap initially for drinking, but I'm interested to know what other things there are. So personally, I'm with Evie. I want to learn more about how we can tap the birch tree safely and not do it any damage, and also how we can then harvest that sap and what we can do with it. And I've never tasted birch sap either, so it'll be a first for me. So we've got brooms, we've got drinking the sap from the tree and harvesting the sap, and I'm sure there'll be many other things that we can find out along the way today. So ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready to go? Let's do it. See you later. Ta-da! And as if by magic we are back again, although it is now 16:30 in the afternoon, so it's a good six and a half hours since we sat down recording the introduction to this video. It's been a busy day. When we recorded the introduction this morning, we walked down to the area where the course was going to take place. We did some introductions, we said hello. There were probably in the region of, I would say, maybe about 15 people there. It was a good turnout. Stuart led us off by talking about the silver birch tree and the birch family, some of its uses, some ID features and things like that, and just getting people into the mindset of looking out for these silver birch trees. We were surrounded by them in the copse of woods that we were in. From that point then we took a little wander up and we went to an area where we were going to do some birch tapping, and we actually did the birch tapping, didn't we? How did you find that?
That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, because some of us, some of the sap went quickly and some of it went slow.
And how did yours two go?
Brilliant.
It went really well, didn't it? Yeah, they did really well. They used a drill in, they tapped it in, they used a collecting jar to collect it, and they got a really good stream of birch sap. Unlike myself, who started off really well, and then by the time I went back to check it, it had just ground to a standstill. So you both did really well then. We left those in place for the rest of the day. We went back down to the camp area. We had some lunch, and then just after lunch, Stuart nominated me for doing a little impromptu demo of starting a fire using birch bark and birch twigs, and that was quite good. I've never taught that to anybody, and I wouldn't say that I was teaching anybody then, but it did seem quite natural. It did flow quite well. People gave good feedback on it at the end of the day. So Although it kind of came out of the blue, I did enjoy doing it, and there's nothing like a little bit of pressure to get you thinking and get you on point with what it is that you're seeing and doing. So these two guys missed that, because what were you doing when we were doing the fire demo?
We were building dens.
They were making dens, making basic lean-to shelters. And what did you learn about the shelter making?
I learned about that. If you get like some leaves, like a massive bundle of them, then they might not work because they might fall through the gaps. And the two good materials you can use is bark and moss.
Yeah, she even, very primitive, but she even had some bark laid out as shingles, which I've never shown her how to do, because it just seemed to be natural to use that and some moss, didn't it? So they both did really well then. After the fire demo, the impromptu fire demo, we then went and felled some trees, and you both had to go at chopping a tree down, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Quite a lot. It's overpopulated with silver birch in this area, so part of the ongoing maintenance of the woods is to thin that out to allow the lower level vegetation and flora and fauna to thrive. So we did a little bit of thinning of that, but we didn't waste it. What did we do with the wood once we'd...
Firewood.
We could use it as firewood, but what did we do in the afternoon?
We made brooms.
They did. They made some witches' brooms. So do you want to show those off? I'm still here. There are the witches' brooms that they made. So that was a good activity, and although it seems quite a simple, primitive thing to do, and I'm not sure how much they'll get used at home, in actual fact, when you pull it apart, they were using cutting tools to cut it to the right length. They were learning how to strip off thin branches and thin twigs and the direction to pull it in to get it to sever from the main limb more easily. They were gathering it together. We were using lashings and bindings and different knots, weren't we? So although the half hitch, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we used a clove hitch to finish it off. So although it's a relatively simple, basic thing to do, and maybe not that used much at home, the component parts of building it were all quite useful, and I found it useful as well. I've never done anything like that, so that was useful. Other people broke off and they made some coasters out of the silver birch, and they also made some candle holders as well. What did you want to say?
And say, when you're chopping the trees down, whatever side it's leaning to, it would fall that way. And there's a triangular space where you need to stay out of.
Well remembered, yeah. So got to figure out which way the tree's going to fall, make sure no one's that way, and you've got to think about where you're sowing, haven't you, so it doesn't flick back at you, and where the other person that's helping you've got to stand in a safe way so it doesn't flick back at them. So well done on picking all that up. I wasn't sure any of that had gone in, so well done, Evie. We made the witches' brooms, and we went back around the campfire, and to finish the day off, we had a little taster session, didn't we, of different drinks.
Yeah.
That have been used using birch sap with different flavourings and different fermentation periods, and you couldn't drink it neat, could you? So we watered it down a heck of a lot. It was almost water by the time we'd finished, but there were different tastes coming through and different flavours, and you enjoyed that, didn't you?
And my
Like the plum.
Plum one?
My favourite one out of all the saps was mine was the one that we did earlier, because it tasted like water, but it had a hint of like flavour in it.
Yeah, so at the very end of the day, the guys that were from the brewery that were sort of co-facilitating the day, they went back up to where we tapped the trees earlier in the day. They collected into a single vessel all of the birch sap that had been collected, and came back round, and we sort of shared it out, and we were drinking.
Whole bottle.
Yeah, it was a bottle full, wasn't it? And I'm sure there was a lot more that they couldn't bring down. It's still up there. So we all had a sip of freshly tapped birch sap, which again I've never done. I've never tapped it. I've never tasted it. It had a slightly thick taste to it, didn't it? And it was nice. It was different. It was different. Wasn't unpleasant at all. So all in all, my highlight of the day, I suppose, was the birch tapping. I've seen people do it. I've read about people doing it. I've watched people do it on video. I've never done it myself, and not only did I do that today, but I had success in doing it briefly, and I was also able to drink it as well. So that was my big highlight and key takeaway of the day. What was yours?
I really liked the tapping the birch trees to get the sap out, because he talked at the end about his business in Brighton and how you can add different flavours, and it's really cool.
Yeah, talking about adding sloes and blackcurrant and cloves and things like that. And what about you? What was your highlight of the day? What was your best bit?
My highlight of the day was when at the end, when we got to make the witch's spoon because you didn't need it too thick and you didn't need it too thin.
Goldilocks, just right.
Yeah.
So those are our highlights of the day. A little bit of an unusual video today, more a case of just recounting our experiences of the day, and that is really kind of the primary purpose of my YouTube channel. It was great to get out doing something different, and it was great to get out with these two guys together rather than just one at a time. So I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you enjoyed watching the video, then please do give it a thumbs up. You know what to do with that thumbs up button, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you want to comment, there's a comment box below, again on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Twitter. Please do share your thoughts about the video and our day out. If you think there's someone in your network that would value from this, you know what to do with that share button. And last but not least, if you're not yet a subscriber, please do click on the link in this corner of the screen down here and you will magically become a subscriber. As always, big thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.